Radio Play Comics is meant to adapt the stories mostly of great unadapted old and forgotten comics from the past. I use voice acting and narration to abridge the work as much as possible without lessening its impact, and to bring these stories to life the best way I can. Please enjoy. Hi, I'm Nick, and welcome to the Fusion Space for today's episode of Radio Play Comics, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Hard Traveling Heroes 2, The Next Generation. If you didn't know, Hard Traveling Heroes is the official title of the monumental 1970 team-up series of Green Lantern Hal Jordan and Green Arrow Oliver Queen, which tackled social issues of the day for the first time in comic books. Now, I've already adapted that series, the important parts of it, as an early episode of this show. It's a little rough around the edges, but I think it works okay. But I will summarize the relevant parts for this episode in this introduction, along with the origin of Connor Hawke, who took over as Green Arrow when Oliver Queen died. His origin and Oliver's death can be seen in my episode where Angels Fear to Tread, the death of Green Arrow, but I'll summarize the relevant parts of that here as well for anyone who missed it. Kyle Rayner became the last Green Lantern in the universe after Hal Jordan rebelled against the Guardians and became Parallax, all of which I've also adapted. When they last saw each other, Kyle gave Hal his final defeat after the Zero Hour conflict by destroying the planet Oa while Hal tried to use it to recharge himself. Published in 1995, the comics forming this episode detail the first meeting of Green Lantern Kyle Rayner and Green Arrow Connor Hawke, and then their first real adventure together when Kyle seeks out Connor for his help in tracking down his long-lost father, something Connor can relate to. The young men get to know each other on the trail, both as heroes carrying on legacies and as people, and both try to share their own form of wisdom with each other, and in that way they are very like their predecessors, while being different in almost every other way possible. They are helped along by Connor's closest friend, Eddie Fyres, who knows the intelligence community like no one else, and might be Kyle's best chance of finding his father in the spy community. They soon find themselves back in the mining town of Desolation, last seen in the first Hard Traveling Heroes, where Ollie and Hal faced a town ruled by a corrupt mine owner and a gang of fascist thugs he employed. But far from being run down, the town now seems vibrant and prosperous, and as our heroes will soon find out, there is far more going on beneath the pleasant surface than anyone could expect. Now, on to the recaps. Hard Traveling Heroes began when Oliver Queen challenged the Guardians of the Universe to come down to the level of humans to better understand mortal beings, and the problems facing them. And they agreed, sending one of their number to join Hal Jordan and Ollie on a country-spanning adventure to find the real America. The very first stop on that trip brought them to a small mining town called Desolation, and upon entering the area they were attacked by rebels who assumed they were here to help the mine owner. Green Lantern and Green Arrow made quick work of the gunmen so they could talk and find out what's going on. During the battle, Hal's power ring beam fell short of its target, and he didn't know why. They soon learned that a local folk singer, Johnny Walden, had been singing songs about the town's troubles. They were kept under the strict control of the mine owner and ruler of the town, Soames, worked for slave wages and kept in debt to the company's store. But Soames, also acting as the town's judge, had run Johnny in on false charges and now planned to hang him at sunrise, so the town rebels were planning an attack to free him tonight. Oliver wanted to help, clearly seeing the injustice, but Hal Jordan was given pause by Soames being the official authority. "You're about to get some first-class help. Experience guaranteed." "Hold on, Green Arrow. This is none of our business. If this Soames is really in charge..." "Oh boy, now I've heard it all. Because Soames muscled his way into authority, he's a good guy, huh? Pal, Hitler was the boss of Germany, remember? And there was Genghis Khan, Nero. Throughout history, cheap punks have made themselves leaders. Regardless of their titles, they were still cheap punks." They soon arrived in the town. Desolation, a tiny hamlet nestled between two dun-colored mountains, a place where poverty is the norm, and tears are more plentiful than bread, where women's voices sound like the keening wind and men seldom speak, and children quickly learn that life is unending misery, and death is merciful. Oliver tried to talk the men out of a hasty attack, but once the men began without them and started to get slaughtered, the heroes could do nothing but join in and try to help stem the loss of life. Green Arrow provided a protective smoke screen for the assault, while Green Lantern cleared a path through the barbed wire and mine. In the midst of the battle, Hal was informed by the Guardians that because he was on leave from his regular duty, they have reduced his ring's power, and it would no longer automatically protect him from mortal harm. Undeterred, Hal lashed out with his fists and knocked out the gunman who ambushed him. Oliver cut a machine gun's ammo belt with an arrow, but he was then knocked out and taken captive, while Hal wandered into an abandoned mine shaft in the smoke. Green Arrow was only faking being unconscious, and once in the room with Soames, he attacked him, only to be surprised by the rebel leader himself, secretly working for Soames. Luckily, Green Lantern arrived, having followed the man through a secret passage from the mine, and he melted his gun to slag. No! The guest heroes allowed Johnny Walden himself to deliver the final sock to Soames. May I, Johnny, be my guest? Mother, that felt good. Hal realized that his ring failed before because he was unsure of what to do, but when he saw Oliver under threat, there was no doubt. The hard-traveling heroes traveled on, leaving Desolation in what seemed like a pretty bad spot, the townsfolk grieving for their loss, and with no apparent means of industry to support the town. Oliver and Hal leapt in search of a prettier part of America. Now, we have one more piece of business to address before the story begins, and that is the origin of the new Green Arrow, Connor Hawke. He was introduced shortly before Where Angels Fear to Tread, a story where Oliver Queen died and then his son Connor took over as Green Arrow to better understand his father and as star of the book until its cancellation a few years later. But along the way he had many adventures, made many friends, and distinguished himself with his service in the Justice League. Oliver had run out of luck and out of friends, and even the government had decided he knew too much and were hunting him, so he threw away his last possessions and moved back to the monastery where he had sought comfort many years before, when he accidentally took a life for the first time, also during the first hard-traveling heroes. There he met a young man obsessed with Green Arrow, and reluctantly agreed to help him with his archery training. Unbeknownst to Oliver, this young man was his son with a past love named Moonday, Connor Hawke. The two formed a bond over archery and became fast friends. All went well until a team of government assassins came looking for Ollie, and Connor helped stop them with his martial arts skills, proving his worth in combat. So when Oliver left, to spare the monks any further harm, Connor asked to go with him, and Oliver agreed, warning Connor of the dangers they would face as he tried to find out who was after him. Oliver's first stop was to recruit his old friend and even older enemy, Eddie Fyres. No one knows the spy community better, and Eddie would be Oliver's best chance of survival. And by just showing up at his place, Ollie had already gotten Eddie involved, so he then had little choice about begrudgingly joining the quest. After a series of misadventures and shootouts with various agents and subsequent interrogations, Oliver was no closer to his goal, having barely freed himself from kidnappers and wandered to a roadside diner in the desert. Eddie and Connor were out there somewhere, searching for him, but who found him was none other than Hal Jordan, appearing for the first time since his defeat as Parallax during Zero Hour, partially at Oliver's hands. He wanted to take Ollie out to find the real America, hoping to return to the past when things were simpler. Hal even used his powers as Parallax to bring Black Canary from her home to the desert with no explanation, and he changed all of their clothes to match what they wore back then. Oliver tells Hal, "You don't know what's real, Hal. You went bad. I killed you. You're dead. That's real." Hal relented and put everything back as it was. He says he just wanted to see his friend and talk to him, and to meet Connor. When Oliver expressed his confusion, Hal revealed to Oliver that Connor was his son. Oliver stormed off into the desert and found another diner while Parallax vanished back to the stars. When Eddie and Connor caught up to him, Oliver let Connor have it, saying he had lied about who he was and Ollie no longer wanted to see him. He hitched a ride with a stranger, leaving Connor with Eddie. Eddie told Connor he was just freaked out by the thought of responsibility, and they kept tailing him. Oliver was then offered a job by the very government who had been hunting him, those elements having since been declared rogue and taken care of. They asked Oliver to infiltrate an eco-terrorist group with left-leaning politics, the kind of radical cause that would welcome his help, to stop them from using a stolen biological superweapon, and he does so. But Oliver also begins falling for the group's attractive female leader, Hyrax. Eddie and Connor enlisted the aid of Ollie's old partner Roy Harper, currently Arsenal, and they caught up to the eco-terrorists as they were attacking a dam. Connor fought them with his martial arts. "A Green Arrow wannabe? How cute! Do you want to be Oliver Queen when you grow up?" "No, I want to be better!" But Oliver soon appeared to oppose him. Before either of them could act, the terrorists blew the dam and escaped with Ollie. Eddie was then barely rescued by Connor on Arsenal's jet. Having fully earned their trust, Oliver then learned of their final plan to destroy Metropolis by crashing a plane into it with the destructive superweapon. Once in the air, one of the terrorists revealed he was an FBI agent, causing a shootout. It ended with Oliver putting his arm in the bomb's detonator switch as Hyrax fell away from it. Oliver was then left as the only thing preventing it from going off as the plane crossed the water leading to the city. Meanwhile, Connor and Eddie had found the man who gave Oliver his mission and convinced him to give them his location. They arrived at the airfield just as Oliver's plane took off and followed behind it in a small prop plane. Superman soon arrived in Oliver's plane. "So if you pull your arm out of that thing, my genetic device explodes and wipes out Metropolis."
"That's the deal, Soups."
"And you're bleeding to death from those bullet wounds."
"You're catching on."
"You never did do anything by halves, Ollie. If you release the dead man switch, the device detonates. There may be a way to remove you from the plane without that happening."
What are you talking about?" "My arm." "No way! I'd rather die."
"The choice isn't yours, old friend."
"Not going to cripple me, you big blue."
Oliver types on the device's keypad. "Ollie, what are you—" "Ollie!" Superman flew out as the plane exploded.
"No."
The flaming wreck crashed into the woods below as Superman saved Eddie and Connor's plane, landing it safely. He offered his condolences before leaving to put out the fire, confirming there was no way Oliver could have survived. Superman and the heroes held a small service for Oliver while Connor visited with Black Canary, sharing the sad news with her and receiving some mementos of Oliver from her, such as his Howard Hill bow. Connor stands on a high hill overlooking a deep forest. "Welcome to Sherwood." That's what it must have looked like.
"What?"
"Sherwood Forest, in days of old."
"You mean Robin Hood and stuff like that?"
"Sure. And if it didn't look like this, it should have. Down there through those trees, Friar Tuck and Will Scarlet and Little John are waiting."
"And Maid Marian?"
"You bet, kid. Those were the days, Connor. Must have been heaven." Connor shoots an arrow high into the air, and it lands in the forest. Legend holds that as Robin Hood had lay dying, he shot an arrow into the woods, and said to bury him where it lay, for that was where his heart was. Deep in the woods where Connor's arrow lay, Oliver's spirit now joins him there. Not the end, but the beginning. Now that the introduction is out of the way, let's begin. Bad blood. Connor and Eddie walk down a deserted New York alleyway, unaware they are being watched.
"Position blue to control. Connor Hawke is on site and approaching target point."
"And his Fyres with him, Blue?"
"On the money, control. Do we jump?"
"Hold the dogs, Blue. Give 'em some rope."
"This is it. 5th floor, rear. Is all this cloak and dagger really necessary?"
"Wake up and smell the gun smoke, Connor." Eddie breaks into an apartment window. "A Gunsel tries to off me while looking for you, and the only name I can get out of him is Moonbeam Hawke, your mother."
"Her name is Moon Day."
"Whatever."
"Can't see a thing in here."
A TV switches on.
"Connor!"
A tape plays on the TV. A man addresses Connor and tells him that his mother is safe with him. Across the street, a team of men prepare an assault. Eddie smells a trap, and the two dive out the window as the tape ends. The leader of the men fires a large energy blast at the building, breaking away the fire escape. Eddie and Connor return fire as it collapses, taking out 2 of the men.
"Red and yellow teams, move in! Fires in the kid are mobile!"
Connor fires again as he falls, and his arrow bounces off the leader's energy weapon.
"Wow!"
Eddie and Connor land in an open dumpster and are soon attacked by the other men with machine guns.
"What was that guy on the roof shooting at us?"
"What guy? What roof?"
"Forget it."
The men surround the dumpster. "Step into the light. You won't be harmed." Now why would they think that? Suddenly all of their heads are encased in green fish bowls.
Boop, boop.
I mean, what's a few million bullets between friends? Green Lantern Kyle Rayner appears as the men lose consciousness and fall to the ground. Connor and Eddie get out of the dumpster. Amazing how a little oxygen deprivation can ruin your day. Are they dead? Just dozing. I recognize the outfit, but you're not Oliver Queen. And you're not the old Green Lantern. So a lot of old farts have told me. Boys, we've still got a situation here. And who are you? Hey! The leader fires a huge blast of energy at them, and he escapes while Kyle forms a shield to block it. Blue rushes down the crowded sidewalk, ignoring the call from his radio. Situation report, Blue. Kyle creates a bazooka. So it's big guns, huh? I'll give him big guns. No! That guy might be the only lead I have to find my mother. If he dies, I lose her for good. Chill out, Boy. I wasn't going to kill the creep. I just want him out of my neighborhood. Excuse me for my lack of confidence, but superpowers don't make you God, you know. Police cars stop the leader in the street. Blue? He blasts the cars and they explode, flying into the air along with the cops. Report, Blue. Shut up, Control. Look, when we catch up with the guy, I can be some help. I mean, come on, a bow and arrow? Kyle forms a futuristic ride. What's the motorcycle for? You want me to make you a cab? I don't like motorcycles. Don't worry about me, Connor. I'll be okay. How about something more retro? Something more your speed. Kyle grins at Connor. Green Arrow rides an emerald horse next to Green Lantern's motorcycle as they follow the trail of carnage. Pretty cool, huh? It's funny we should meet. Huh? I mean, my dad and the old GL used to team up. You're Oliver Queen's son? Guilty. The whole Green Arrow thing is kind of in my blood. The only thing he and I have in common is this ring. And maybe a desire to do what's right. Blue heads down into a subway station with the heroes close behind him. He's ours, buddy. No, too many people. Back off, I said. Back off. Blue gets on the train. Kyle dodges an energy blast from the train as it leaves the station. This really bites. Do we just let this guy shoot at us? Connor rides his horse alongside it and jumps onto the train. Kyle flies next to it. I don't get it. Why did a Green Lantern hang out with a guy who just fired arrows? Because sometimes brute force wasn't the answer. A blast of energy burst through the roof of the train, narrowly missing them. Meanwhile, Eddie Fyres interrogates the rest of the team, finally getting the name of the man on the tape who has Connor's mother, Armitage. Listening through the radio, Armitage is furious at being revealed. He strikes Moonday in his anger, then instantly falls to his knees and apologizes to her. Everyone on the train cowers away from the leader. Which way is the train going? Which way? Brooklyn. Crap! I want it uptown! While he's distracted, Green Arrow silently drops through the hole in the roof. Huh? When he turns, Connor shoots 2 arrows into the barrels of his weapon. Oh, shit! The energy weapon explodes, and Blue is thrown into the wall. He alive? Just stunned. I guess the gun's energy has to be focused. We made a pretty good team. Yeah, but don't expect me to take off across America. I got a rent-controlled apartment. They exit the train with the leader in green cups. So what do we do with this guy? Nothing short of torture is going to get him to tell me anything. Your mom's in with this crowd? I don't know. My mom's kind of a free spirit. I haven't even seen her that much the past 5 years. Better than me. I never knew my dad. Where do I reach you if this guy spills to the cops? Eddie and I are at the Dinwoody on 3rd. See you around then, Green Arrow. Some other time, Green Lantern. If you ever need help, look me up. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Connor returns to their hotel room where Eddie tells him about Armitage, who is an arms dealer looking to sell energy weapons like the one they faced today. But he hasn't kidnapped Moonday as they thought. Rather, she has married him. The two head for Gotham City and a team-up with Robin. A gang of men threaten a scantily clad woman in an alley. My father's been on my mind lately. Thing is, it's hard for me to even remember what he looks like. There it is, all the same, though. The same unanswered question I've avoided for 20 years. All the unresolved stuff, the repressed feelings, the old angst. Please. My father. Please. That's funny. Listen, girly, we're having a party tonight. You're it.
Party.
So let's get you out of your clothes and into your party dress. Suddenly an arrow pierces the man's hand, and he drops his knife. Ah! Green Arrow sits perched on a dumpster with 2 more arrows knocked. With everything that's happened, I've got other things I should be thinking about. John Stewart in a hospital in New York, stable but not even close to walking again. My relationship with Donna, and whether we're going to try patching it up or doing that idiot just friends thing. But it's my father that's been on my mind. Normally, I'd give you guys a chance to back down and run away, but you didn't give her much of a chance, did you? He looses them as he leaps forward, the arrows pinning a punk's arm to the wall and sticking in another's leg. Ah! Connor dodges past a large goon and aims another arrow.
Get him! My freaking hand!
It hits the lead thug's earring, tearing it off. Ah! I suppose in a roundabout way it's because of Graven, seeing his rage against his father for not being a father. It made me think about my dad, think about finding him. Another charges at him with a chain, and Connor stops him with a jump kick. But he is hit on the head from behind by a large goon with a pipe. So I thought I'd ask for help from somebody who could empathize with what I'm feeling. Of course, I didn't expect to find him about to get his brains splattered all over the sidewalk. Green Arrow slumps to the ground as the gang's leader pulls out his gun.
Didn't mess up my hand so bad I can't use my 9, man.
Can't have that.
You are one dead...
Huh? Just then, a glowing green arrow is stuck in the gun's barrel. Especially when I came all this way. Kyle flies into the alley. Always wanted to do that.
Green Lantern?
Hard-traveling heroes, the next generation. Part 1. Family traditions. Seems to me, you guys could use some sensitivity training in your dealings with the opposite sex. But I'm no therapist. So how about I have the nice lady here beat it into you? He forms a large barbarian woman to punch the leader high into the air. Connor springs up, catching a chain with his bow and kneeing the man swinging it. Green Lantern knocks out the big guy with a huge green fist. Lesson learned? And Green Arrow trips another by pinning his pants legs together with an arrow. Last one down. Pretty good team, huh? Not bad.
Are you guys the good guys?
You could say that. Connor helps the woman up. Are you okay?
A little bit shaky, but yeah, I'll be fine. Wouldn't have been if you hadn't come along.
She kisses him on the cheek.
Thanks.
Sure. Glad we were here, but, you know, maybe you should think about a less dangerous line of work.
I think about it all the time, but a girl's gotta make a living somehow. Bye.
She saunters off. Man, right back out on the street. What's wrong with this picture? Ask somebody who's been out in the world longer than I have. What's up, Lantern? I came to your neighborhood, so you figured you needed to come to mine? Something like that. No, really. San Fran's pretty far from your usual place of business. To tell you the truth, I came here looking for you. I wanted to ask for your help finding my dad. Kyle drops the gun in the dumpster. Me? Why, is he lost? Yeah, for about the last 20 years. It's not like I even know him. My dad was in the military, so I guess he wasn't around a lot anyway. But I wasn't even 3 when he got sent on some mission. Southeast Asia or somewhere like that. He never came home. He wasn't killed, or even listed missing in action. He just didn't come back. And nobody would tell us why. After a while, my mom just accepted it and got on with her life, but some things have happened, and now I feel like I should find him. Okay, but again, why me? With that ring of yours, what do you need with a simple archer trying to fill his father's boots? That's exactly why. You grew up without your dad, then you found him. You understand better than anybody. Connor climbs and Kyle flies up to a rooftop. You were even looking for your mom in New York that first time I met you. That situation turn out okay? As well as can be expected. What about your mom? She doesn't know anything that would help? No, she knows as much as I do, or as little. We never really talk about it. It's like opening up old wounds. Our relationship's not the best anyway. This is something I'm going to do myself. So what do you say? Help me? Absolutely. I still owe you for New York, and there is historical precedent for Green Lantern and Green Arrow to team up. So they tell me. Look, I don't know if this is the way you're supposed to do this, but Kyle dissolves his mask. My name's Kyle. Kyle Rayner. Pleased to meet you, Kyle Rayner. Connor takes his off, too. I'm Connor Hawke. You know, I think maybe you came to the right place, because I know someone who might be able to help us. Later, Kyle and Connor wait in a stylish coffee house. So where is he? He'll be here. And he said he could find out something? He told you that on the phone, right? Believe me, he's got a lot of connections. Intelligence sort of connections. If somebody can track down your dad, it's Eddie Fyres. Geez, Connor, couldn't you just pick some greasy spoon? I hate these places with a menu as long as my arm just for that coffee. There an ashtray around? Eddie, this is Kyle Rayner. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. Connor said you're the guy if I want to find my dad. Yeah, Connor filled me in on the particulars. Maybe you're in luck. I remember a guy named Rayner when I was in country during my military days. Not somebody I knew real well, just a face passing through the unit. Really? His first name wasn't Aaron, was it? So I've since found out. But like I said, he was just rotating through. I hardly spoke a word to him. This is the only photo I've ever had of my dad. Is this the guy you remember? Kyle shows Eddie a photograph. That thing taken underwater, kid? Photo's blurry enough it could be John F. Kennedy for all I know. Seriously, aren't there any ashtrays in this place? You're not supposed. That could be him, Kyle. I just don't know. It was quite a few years ago. Listen, I called in a few markers, talked to some friends in the government, and I tracked down the Rayner I served with. Aaron Rayner's last known address was a little town outside Lincoln, Nebraska. Here it is. Eddie hands Kyle a sheet of paper. Man, those must be some friends in the government. Yeah, well, the enemies outnumber them. Wow. My dad. Probably. Maybe. Thanks, Eddie. I can't thank you enough. You owe me one. I suppose you kids are off to find this guy now? Count me out. But you can have the keys to my Woody if you promise to bring it back in one piece. Thanks for the offer, but I don't think we'll need it. Then how you planning on getting there? Oh, don't worry about us. I'm sure I'll think of something. Kyle and Connor sit comfortably in a large green jet plane, flown by a buxom pilot. And you can create anything, as long as you can visualize it in your mind? Yep, anything I can think of. It's all about imagination and willpower. So what's this fixation with women you seem to have? I mean, the pilot? Like I said, it's all about imagination. I'm a 20-something guy. I've got an active imagination. Don't look for any deep psychological meanings, Connor. I like pretty women. No big deal. Okay, makes sense. I have to tell you, Kyle, whatever you do with that ring is impressive. It's a whole different league than a bow and arrow. If you don't mind my asking, how'd you end up doing it? How'd you become Green Lantern? The truth? More dumb luck than anything. Right place, right time. I never told this to anybody else. Just a girlfriend I used to have. It was back when I lived on the West Coast. Just after Coast City was destroyed, I was in an alley outside a club. This little blue guy appears and hands me the ring. Then he's gone, just like that. He was the last guardian of the universe. I found out later. He gave me the last power ring because I was there. It could have just as easily been someone else. Not like I had any idea what to do with the ring. Took me a while to get the hang of it, but I did the best I could. I tried to make it mine, my own costume and everything. But I wasn't really Green Lantern until I proved to myself that I was worthy of it. And that didn't happen until I went up against Hal Jordan. He was Green Lantern before me, the best Green Lantern, before he changed. Pretty imposing tradition to live up to, you know. Actually, I suppose you do know. I guess I do. Being Oliver Queen's son was almost like destiny. I learned I was Ollie's son. Learned about him from a scrapbook my mom kept hidden in her closet. I wanted more than anything in the world to follow in his footsteps. When I was old enough, I convinced my mom to let me join a monastery where Ollie spent a lot of time. I devoted myself to studying kudo, archery, and martial arts. I don't think I consciously knew it, but it's as if I was training to take Ollie's place, even before he died. What you said about Hal, I know exactly what you mean. Because it's a lot for me to live up to, being the kind of hero my dad was. Were you nervous? Nervous? Meeting Ollie for the first time. Were you nervous about it? Sure. Nervous, excited, everything in between. Ollie didn't realize at first. We got to know each other before I told him he was my father. You nervous about meeting your dad? We must be getting close. Who, me? No way. I'm just gonna walk up there, knock on the door, and tell him who I am. No problem. Believe me, have the lemon head burger, hold the cheese, with fries and a vanilla shake, I guess. Connor and Kyle sit at a roadside diner, having traded the green pilot for a buxom waitress in the flesh.
And what can I get you, handsome?
Well, it's not on the menu, but would it be possible for me to have just a big salad?
Honey, you can have anything you want.
Okay. And an iced tea, please?
Let me know if you think of something else.
Man, how do you do that? What do you mean? What do you mean, what do I mean? The waitress! She was coming on to you in a big way. She was? She was. Looks like me wanting to meet my dad on a full stomach. Not that I'm nervous. Might get you some affection. She was falling all over you, Connor. Wish I could get that reaction out of women. Well, I don't know. I don't really notice that kind of thing. Growing up in the ashram and all, I haven't really had much experience. Play your cards right and you're gonna get a world of experience from Christy the waitress over there. That's not what... I just don't think I want to... with her. Don't want to? Seriously? Connor, if you're trying to say you're gay, that's cool. You can just tell me. No, it's not that. I've always thought of myself as straight, but I was raised in a monastery. Kyle, I've never even kissed a girl. I'm just uncomfortable with women, unlike my father, who seemed unable to resist giving in to a pretty face. Maybe I have noticed them noticing me, but I just never did anything about it. But like I said, I have no experience with women at all. I'm completely in the dark about the whole process. Maybe I can shed a little light on it for you. Hi, Christy.
Hi yourself. Miss me?
Must have read my mind.
I'm pretty sure I can tell what you're thinking. Let's see. You're the iced tea, and you're the float.
Here, let me get that for you. Kyle looks into her eyes and gently touches her hand as he takes the cold drink.
Just a little sweetie, aren't you?
I try. Your hands are like ice, Christy. We've got to get them warmed up.
I did have to go digging in the freezer for the ice cream to make you shake. But you know what they say. Cold hands, warm heart.
Do they really say that?
Really? Don't you think it's true?
I don't know. It's not that I don't believe you, but I was never much for listening to what they say. But I'd be willing to give you a chance to convince me.
Maybe that could be.
A hand falls on her shoulder.
Oop!
Belonging to an angry sheriff. That'll be enough. You run along now, Christy. Get back to your job. I'll take care of this situation. Listen up, son. I'm only gonna say this once. That waitress you're looking to paw is my daughter. I don't like what I've been watching, and most of what I don't like is you. We got us a nice, quiet town here. We don't need fellas like you. Big city fellas, unless I miss my guess, coming around and disturbing that quiet. So I think it'd be a real good thing if you two found someplace else to eat. We didn't do anything. Sheriff wasn't giving you a choice. On your feet, son. Let's just leave, Kyle. No sense in starting trouble. Get your hands off me. Kyle throws the deputy's hand off, knocking over his milkshake. We ordered food. We're gonna sit here and eat it. You can hear me all right, can't you, boy? You're not deaf or nothing? I said you were moving on. We got no need for your kind here. Now, which part of that didn't you understand?
Their food's ready, Daddy.
They won't be staying, Christine. I think I speak for just about everybody. Gave you a chance to go out the front door. Now you go out the back. Hard.
The cops pull Kyle and Connor out of their seats. Kyle, we should... You don't know who you're messing with, Deputy Fife. Kyle shoves the deputy into the waitress, spilling their food. We come in here to eat, flirt with the waitress a little, and you're forming a lynch mob. Because we're not from around here? Because we look a little different? What's wrong with you people? Some narrow-minded jerk with a badge and gun decides he doesn't like us. So all of a sudden we're a public menace? And you've got the right to hassle us? It doesn't work that way. You're so used to pushing people around whenever you feel like it, you don't think anybody's ever gonna push back. Well, let me tell you something, Dad. You're in for a surprise. All you understand is force? Fine. Kyle takes off his ring and leaves it on the table, then slugs the deputy. Have some! Great. Connor reluctantly backhands the sheriff.
Ow! They asked for
Get 'em both!
Hold him, Norv.
The cook jumps over the counter as other patrons join the brawl. Kyle is punched onto a table. He kicks his way off it as Connor takes a man down with a palm strike. Soon, the battle is over. Sort of blew a gasket there, Kyle. Guilty as charged. Just me, without the ring? I have to admit, it felt good. It felt good to almost get us arrested? Connor, I'm the first one to admit I've got a problem with authority. Maybe growing up without a father's got something to do with me feeling that way. You sure wiped the floor with these guys for somebody who wanted to leave without any trouble. I didn't learn Aikido so I could be a brawler, Kyle. But you didn't exactly give me another option, did you? I thought Green Arrow was the traditional hothead in this arrangement. Sorry, it wasn't fair of me to drag you in. But I appreciate the help. You probably saved me some teeth. Hey, we're partners. Kyle puts his ring back on. Come on, partner. Now we're leaving. Through the front door. They arrive at the address Eddie gave them. Kyle summons his will and knocks on the door, but learns that Aaron Rayner moved away a long time ago. The woman living there gives them his forwarding address, located in a town called Desolation. Hard Traveling Heroes, The Next Generation, Part 2. Desolation Again. Ollie and Hal stand back to back against the corrupt rulers of Desolation. Ollie told me all about his first trip to Desolation. Hal Jordan and he almost didn't make it out alive. He said if this country had a cesspool, it was in Desolation. It sounded like everything that was wrong with America could be found there to a factor of 10. Kyle drives them through the countryside in a futuristic roadster. Which was why I have to wonder why your father's here. Wish I had an answer for you, but I know zip about the man, Connor. That's the reason for this little road trip, remember? Your pal Eddie Fyres found out more in 24 hours than I've heard in almost 20 years. My dad lives in Desolation, or so we're told by the folks at his last known address. It is possible that this town isn't the same as when Queen and Jordan last saw it. You could be right, Kyle. Holy! He pulls over, stopping before a billboard reading, "Welcome to Desolation, a honey of a town." Could this be the same? Better check the map again. When Kyle and Connor arrive in Desolation, to their surprise they find a well-developed town with a booming economy. What's happened to this town? An embarrassment of riches and a real shortage of taste would be my first guess. But Ollie said, that was back in the days, Connor. But this is... Let's discuss it over eats, okay? I'm starved. Do they have salad? 1 burger won't kill you. 2 Go burgers, a pair of potato O'Briens, a couple of those green shakes, and a... Looks like there's a lot of money in this town. Is there some kind of industry here? Sure, honey. This town's main industry is torting. Huh? Desolation's the lawsuit capital of America. Started when I was a kid. Lots of folks in town sued the mining company and got major cash rewards. Almost everybody in the county hit the litigation jackpot. Except you, right? No, I'm just working here till my settlement comes in. What are you suing for? I'm taking Bonita Cosmetics to court. Their mascara made me colorblind. As they leave the restaurant, Kyle is nearly hit by a car, and lawyers jump from every angle to offer their services, which he declines. After lunch, Kyle and Connor visit the post office, but are told Aaron Rayner isn't listed. Connor tells Kyle the man is lying, though. He could tell by a change in his breathing at his father's name. After they leave, the man reports their inquiry to his bosses who run the town. They were already wary of the outsiders since Kyle didn't want to file a lawsuit, as most visitors would have. Thanks for helping me out. Sure. So, why are you helping me out? Well, we've got a lot in common. Kind of a bond. Yeah, there's nothing like punching out local law enforcers to bring 2 guys together.
I wish you'd forget that. I'm trying to. I'm just breaking your stones, Connor. You were saying? We both lost our fathers, Kyle. They both walked out of our lives. Yeah, but Oliver Queen didn't even know about you. My dad knew he had a kid. He saw me, held me, played with me, I guess. Then out the door and goodbye, sonny boy. Connor remembers his time with Ollie at the monastery. So how'd you end up here, Connor? It was, partly my idea, but my mom thought it would enlighten me. I think she just wanted me out of the way. And what did your dad think? I never knew him, never met him. Hey, sorry, kid. It's okay, Ollie. My main lady, Dinah Lance, and I talked about having a kid. Never worked out. I missed out on all that. Oh? It would have been nice to have a son. Somebody to pass the queen charm to. I had a ward. It's not the same as my own flesh and blood, though. Besides, our relationship's been kind of up and down. Yeah, right. Who am I kidding? A guy like me doesn't need to be dragging a brat along. The guy's gotta be careful what he wishes for, right? Yeah. You talked to your father, hung out with him. You got the answers to some of your questions. I just want to see my dad face to face. Just once. I had a lot of unresolved issues too, Kyle. Unresolved issues? Jeez, I thought you were raised in a monastery. Huh? You sound like a spot for the Ricky Lane show. I just want to ask the man why. Why'd you run out on me and Mom? Why'd you disappear? Why'd you stop loving us? I'm here to help you find out all of those things. Thanks, but I still gotta wonder, what's in it for you, Connor? Hanging out with you has got me thinking about women, about Ollie. Maybe it'll help me get a perspective on my own world, one without Ollie in it. Two police officers find the boys, but only stop to observe them. Well, enough of this feminine side bull. What do you say we suit up and hunt down some solid leads? Sounds good, but let me call Eddie first. He may help us look before we leap. No sense running into trouble unless we have to. Connor tries calling Eddie, but he is busy running down a lead on Aaron Rayner with a friend in town, and does not answer. As evening rolls out over the town, Connor and Kyle change into Green Arrow and Green Lantern. I'm in kind of a Lamborghini mood tonight. What do you think? I think a translucent green car would be conspicuous even in this town. Well, we're gonna do the superhero thing anyway. Superheroes, huh? That means good guys, right? Several police officers accost them. So you won't mind telling us what business you have in Desolation? Actually, we're looking for... Shut up, Arrow. You want to arrest us, Sheriff? I could find a reason, if you want one. That's the only way you'll ask us any questions. Have it your way, hero. You two are under arrest? Huh? Have to catch us first, deputy. Kyle scoops Connor onto a flying green motorbike and quickly takes off. Was this such a good idea? Normally, I might go along to get along, but not in this town. The police chase after them. Unlawful arrest! Police brutality! Reckless endangerment! Kyle zips the bike through oncoming traffic. But they are the recognized lawful authority in this county. Now you want to play by the rules? You've got a lot to learn about the vigilante game, buddy. Cars bump into each other as the chase passes Johnny Walden's nightclub. I just think it would be easier if we cooperated. We just explained why we're here. Like they'd believe that. They think we're here to upset their little lawsuit paradise they've got going here. Suddenly, an energy blast explodes a chunk of the street before them, and Kyle stops the bike short. What? Whoa. Hey, you could have warned me. Don't blame me, Arrow. An armored man with two glowing pink guns stands before them in the street. Blame him. Who the? Name's Hatchet. And you may not know this. Change up 30mm chain gun. A glowing pink double-barreled chain gun appears in his hands. What? But we have a mutual friend. Connor tackles Kyle into the hole in the street as glowing bullets strafe the cars behind them. He talking to you or me? I don't know, but he's got something like your power to create things out of thin air. Hey, I noticed. Now things are getting interesting. But whose side is he on? Kyle forms a green energy rifle and they pop up to return fire. Hatchet dives behind a car for cover. Green Lantern and Green Arrow duck below the street again as regular bullets come at them from the other side. We sure know whose side those deputies are on. The police are lined up behind their cars, all firing at the heroes. Connor remembers Ollie again. The whole town was turned against you? No, just the boss and his goons. The ones that talk like a bunch of Nazis. So Desolation was run by right-wing extremists? Bad idea to try to pigeonhole pure evil, Connor. Right wing, left wing, no wing. Jackboots are one size fits all. Connor fires arrows into the cops and their gun barrels as Kyle rises again, now heavily armed with huge, many-faceted guns. You still here, Hatcheck? 'Cause I'm calling you out!
That's Hatchet.
The villain launches a large pink rocket. Kyle trades the guns for a shield, and Connor dives away just before the street explodes, knocking cars back. Hatchet finds Kyle lying unconscious in the hole.
Damn. I was sent to come get you, not kill you. Mr. Rayner's gonna kill me.
Kyle starts to get up.
Counted you out a bit too soon. Change up. Taser gun. Can't take any chances. Sleep tight, Ringo.
He aims his taser, but an arrow pierces his gauntlet, short-circuiting his power, and the taser vanishes.
Ah!
Connor holds another arrow drawn on Hatchet as he aims a flame gun back. Step away from him. The next arrow finds meat.
I have orders to bring you both in, Robin Hood. But as long as one of you is alive, I imagine the other don't need to be. That means you're toast.
Just a second, Ratchet. Nobody talks to my friend that way. Kyle punches Hatchet with a fist of green armor. Connor finishes him off with a jump kick. Nice shot. Still a little shaky after that hit I took. That ring's awful handy to have around. Tell me about it. Wait, now what? I sent Hatchet to come get you. A man in a trench coat approaches them. I didn't know you'd be so hard on the messenger. Dad? Hard Traveling Heroes, The Next Generation, Part 3. Re-entry, critical. Kyle and Connor have followed the man to a restaurant and sit beneath a poster reading. Live at the Roxy, Johnny Walton. With Jefferson Helicopter, Steel Butterfly, Electric Strawberries. Want the Reader's Digest abridged version? I was hardly out of diapers when my father walked out on me and my mom. Fast forward 20-odd years. I'm Green Lantern. I get it in my head to find my dad. Maybe I want some sense of closure. I hook up with Green Arrow, just like the old Hal Jordan and Ollie Queen days. The new Arrow is Ollie's son, Connor Hawke, who grew up with a lot of father issues himself. So here we are in the aptly named town of Desolation. Here, fellas, have a seat. I think you'll find it a little more comfortable in here. Sitting across the table from a guy who looks like me, plus 25 years and a cheesy mustache. I can't wait to see where all this goes. Then out on the street. My friend at the bar over there, Johnny Walden. This is his place. He was kind enough to clear it out for us so we could have a nice sit-down. Johnny used to be quite the thing around here. Real nice place he's got, wouldn't you say? So, welcome to Desolation. Hope there are no hard feelings about what went on outside. You mean the cops and then your guy in the tin suit here trying to kill us? Gee, no, why would we be upset about that? Well, maybe Hatchet was a little overzealous, but we're talking about a little misunderstanding, that's all. Desolation's a quiet town, just the way we like it. Couple guys like you show up, hey, we just don't know what to think. Makes the locals a little nervous, you know? But no harm, no foul. Right, fellas? We're doing fine here, Hatchet. Head back to the base. Get the suit repaired.
But these two are...
Go. Hatchet leaves as ordered. Hard to find good help these days. Okay, so where were we? You were going to tell me why you're here, I think. Hope you weren't, sent by the government or anything like that. Big Brother sticking his nose in where it doesn't belong? I'd hate to think the Justice League was coming down on Desolation. No, nothing like that. We're here looking for someone.
Really? Who?
You.
Me?
You're Aaron Rayner, right?
Well, that's what I tell people.
How do you know my name? You're my father.
Huh?
You're Kyle? Kyle removes his mask. Yeah, I'm your son. I think I'll let you guys talk about this alone. Take your time, okay? No rush. Thanks.
Connor leaves them.
Mara's son. You're Mara's son. Mara's son. Your son. Or did you forget that part when you walked away from us 20 years ago? My son is a superhero. Right on the first try. Not that I imagine you care. You didn't then, so why should you... Kyle.
Aaron places his hand on Kyle's.
I'm so glad to see you. So very glad.
Connor talks with the barman.
What's all that about?
Nothing I can tell you. Sorry. I saw the poster down there. You're Johnny Walden, right?
Used to be. A long time ago. Started right here in Desolation, after I got saved from a hanging by the ones who were Green Lantern and Green Arrow before you two. I had a good run at it. A few albums, a couple tours, singing songs I thought meant something, at a time when people wanted to listen. But times change. People didn't want to listen anymore, at least to what I had to say. The me decade, then the mine decade, you know? So I ended up coming back here to Desolation. They listened to me once before, so I thought I could find an audience. But Desolation had changed too. Like you see it now. Everybody out for themselves. Everybody looking for a quick buck.
Well, at least you got this club, right?
Yeah, this club. Like I'm not beholden to that guy in the booth with your friend over there. He's the one who makes everything happen around here. I'm in so deep with him, I'll never get clear. In the end, I sold out too, just like everyone else. Idealism is one of the things you can never get back. Hold on to yours as long as you can, kid.
Sure. Thanks for the advice.
Why? Such a simple question for so complex an answer. Your mother told you I was in the military. I'm sure she told you that much, but it wasn't the truth. Not entirely. When I was your age, Kyle, I wanted to serve my country. I wanted that more than anything else. I started out in the Army, and I worked my way up in the Intelligence Corps. I married your mother somewhere along the way. Eventually, I went to work for one of those alphabet agencies, the ones you know by letters instead of names. Not really important which one. What is important is the work I was doing, keeping America safe and strong. When you were just a baby, they asked me to do a job that meant I could never come back home. Never. And nobody could know the truth, not even your mother. It was the hardest decision I ever made, but I knew I had to serve the greater good. My sense of duty won out, Kyle. I did what my country asked of me. America needed me. Mom needed you. I needed you. I'm not asking you to forgive me, son, but at least try to understand. In a way, I was keeping you and your mother safe. I was keeping America safe. From enemies that wanted to pull her down. From powers that wanted to see this great country reduced to ruin. I made sacrifices, Kyle. I answered the call then, for all the thanks I got. And I'm doing it now. Everything in Desolation, everything I built here, there's a reason for it. And you, son, with all you can do, you can help me. Please, let me show you. Aaron Rayner brings Green Lantern and Green Arrow into a highly advanced secret base deep underground. You can't even see it from the outside. The entire complex is concealed within the mountain. Looks like something out of a James Bond movie. It didn't come cheaply, but Desolation's been more than generous in the support of this undertaking. Originally, these were mining tunnels, but the company went bust in the mid-80s. All this space, just waiting for someone with a vision. The people you see are the finest in their fields. We've come together, built this facility in order to make that vision a reality. We're united in our beliefs, working towards the same goal.
Well, this is all great, but what's it for?
For the American dream, son. The American dream. People think it's dead, killed by a liberal federal government, foreign interests, the media, the worldwide banking conspiracy. And they've all tried their best. Oh, how they've tried. But the dream's not dead. It's just been taken away from us. It's time for us to reclaim it. America can be great again, but it needs help from the common man. It needs everyone who believes in America to stand up and do their part. My country needs me, and it needs you.
No offense, but this sounds a little like all those guys in militias calling themselves patriots.
Don't confuse true patriotism with gun nuts running around the woods because they don't want to pay their taxes. I'm talking about making America strong and proud again. I'm talking about going back to the principles our country was founded upon. Not these bleeding heart policies that have brought this nation to its knees. You two are still young, but that's no excuse not to see the truth. I want you to meet someone. Over here.
A beautiful blonde woman wearing an ammo vest and a large gun greets them.
Green Lantern? Green Arrow? This is Crackshot, my head of security. Sweet young thing, but don't let her fool you. She's as good with a firearm as you are with that bow arrow. Damnedest shot I've ever seen. About your age, too. And she believes in the cause, don't you?
Absolutely. We're doing important work here, taking back America.
Maybe you could convince these fellows, Crackshot. Especially the bowslinger there.
Oh, I think I could bring him around.
Huh? Follow me. I want to show you our crowning glory.
Aaron showed them a large machine the size of a bus.
This is going to be our weapon in the war to liberate America.
A satellite?
A satellite, Kyle. A communications satellite, able to relay television and radio signals we originate. Once it's placed in Earth orbit, we'll have the ability to broadcast directly to the American people. No more liberal media bias, hiding the facts and confusing the public. We'll show the people how dire the situation is. It'll be a call to action. The Second American Revolution. I've been in contact with the Japanese about putting the satellite into orbit for us. The cost, which is considerable, doesn't concern me. But the nearest launch window they could give me was 3 months away. 3 months? Who knows how much more damage America could suffer in that time? Of course, you could do it for me sooner.
Me?
Son, Kyle, with that ring of yours, you could do it so easily. And it would mean so much to me.
Well, yeah. I don't see why not.
Kyle, look, this is happening kind of fast. It's probably not a good idea to be making decisions before we know a little more about the situation.
We shouldn't trust my father? Is that what you're saying, Arrow?
Well, no, it's just...
It's a communication satellite. Big deal. It's not like there's a law against it. This is America, you know. First Amendment rights, free speech. Help me or don't, Connor. Frankly, I can do it without you.
No, I'll help. No problem.
Fine. You got it, Dad. You just tell me where you want that satellite.
Kyle fires up his ring. And I'll fly it there. As the heroes get in deeper in Desolation, Eddie Fyres flies towards the town in a private plane he's chartered.
I need to locate some kids before they get themselves into trouble. One of them can probably take care of himself. At least that's what I'm trying to teach him. But the other's just some kid. And they're both pretty naive. They don't have any idea what they're walking into. I just hope I can find them before they get a big surprise.
My God.
Connor stares in wonder all around him from a spacesuit generated by Green Lantern, while he places the satellite in orbit with a robot arm.
It's beautiful.
What are you talking about, Connor? What's beautiful?
This. The Earth. Space.
Everything. Don't you ever notice it, Kyle? Come on, Connor. I've been to other planets. To Ran, to Oa, when there was an Oa. Even to the other side of the universe. I'm not out here to sightsee. Maybe you should be. Do you have any idea how lucky you are to see this? Most people down there on Earth, they'll never get a chance to experience this firsthand. It's amazing. Don't take it for granted, Kyle. Look. Really look. Okay, so what am I supposed... Kyle stops and looks around. Wow. I never noticed. Like milky sapphire on black velvet. Diamonds scattered all around. Infinite. Connor, thanks. Sometimes you need somebody to point out the things that are right in front of you. That's what friends are for, right? So that's why you wanted to come along? For the view? That was part of it. But I also wanted to talk to you. Alone, I mean. Not back at your dad's secret headquarters, or whatever he calls it. There. That's about right. What's on your mind, Connor? Not about that girl, is it? Crack shot? No, not about her. Truthfully, it's about what we're doing. Putting this satellite into orbit for your father. I'm not sure it's the right thing. What do you mean, right thing? I'm doing a favor for my father. Why is that a problem? Kyle, I understand trying to please your father. I mean, take a look at me. But I'm concerned that because of it, you might be a little blinded to what's going on. I'll admit I'm not very politically aware, so what I'm saying seems more like common sense to me. But this whole Save America thing with your dad sounds a little radical. Like his point of view is the only one. Are you calling my father some kind of fascist? No. At least I don't think so. But it just seems to me blaming someone else for whatever problems there are creates problems instead of solving them. I'm saying it's possibly your dad's a little over the top. Kyle pokes an accusing finger through Connor's faceplate. Look! So my father wants to make the country a better place. That makes him some kind of loony? It's not like I was a poli-sci major, so maybe I don't know everything I need to. But this is my father we're talking about. Yeah, this is your father we're talking about. Your father who walked out on you and your mother. Kyle slugs Connor, forming an emerald battleground in a dome around them. You want to do this? Right here? Right now? Don't use me as a way to vent, Kyle. I'm not the problem. Your father is. Shut up! Kyle tackles Connor to the ground. Kyle, get control of yourself. Who are you to judge my father? And punches him. Stop it, Kyle. Connor kicks Kyle off of him. He rises with his bow ready, instantly drawing an arrow on Kyle. I said stop. I mean it, Kyle. You wouldn't. Of course I wouldn't. Besides being the only way I can get back to Earth alive, you're my friend. But I won't do this anymore. I won't fight you. So this is going to stop. All right. You win. We're done. And that's exactly what I mean. We're done. You and me. You helped me find my dad, and I appreciate it. But that's it. Once we get back to Earth, you go your way, and I go mine. This Green Lantern, Green Arrow partnership is dissolved. We're not a team anymore. We're not even friends. Kyle puts Connor's spacesuit back on. Whoop. I'm sorry you feel that way. Yeah, well, that makes one of us. And they return to Earth. Meanwhile, Aaron Rayner confers with his superiors on the phone. They think they're hauling some sort of communications relay, but we both know what it is. I push a few buttons, I can turn Washington, D.C. into a big hole in the ground. Sir, the one with the ring's headed this way, but Robin Hood's not with him. Do tell. By all means, Hatchet, show in Green Lantern, then get lost. It's up there, right where you wanted it. I knew I could count on you. Hatchet, goodbye. Glad I could help, Dad. And you have no idea how glad I am, Kyle. You've made me very proud. I know it can't make up for all the lost time between us.
but we're going to accomplish great things together.
So where's your friend, the Bowman? He did go with you, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, but, he left the complex when we got back. Back to our room in town, I guess. He'll be leaving in the morning.
Really? Hope you two didn't have a falling out over anything.
Doesn't matter. Family's what's important. Green Arrow's just a guy. I really don't care what happens to him.
Connor enters his hotel room and is ambushed with a kiss. He turns on the light.
Crack shot?
Hi, I've got something I want to show you.
Crackshot wraps her leg around him as she draws her gun. Hard Traveling Heroes, The Next Generation, Part 4. Final Appeal.
I'm not sure whether I should kill you or kiss you.
Crackshot.
Aw, who am I kidding?
She kisses Connor again.
Wait a minute. Something's wrong here.
Then you're not doing it right.
Crackshot.
Call me Melanie. That's my real name.
Aaron watches her on his monitor.
You called Mr. Rayner?
Tell me again, Hatchet. What were your exact orders to her?
Nothing like this, Mr. Rayner.
No colorful euphemisms? No double entendres?
Nope.
Then send in the backup team. Kill them both. Melanie climbs on top of Connor on the bed.
You don't know what you're doing.
Then you show me.
He kisses her. She sets down her big gun.
Doom.
As they're making out, a team of armed men drop in from the ceiling.
Both targets are terminal. We have confirmation on that? Control, can you confirm 2 targets?
Connor and Melanie both dive off the bed and go for their weapons.
2 targets confirmed.
I'm supposed to be on your side.
Crackshot stabs one of the men through the foot.
Terminate. Repeat. Terminate.
And Connor swings his quiver, knocking 2 more back. Crackshot shoots one of the men. Then Connor grabs her hand and they run out of the room.
What the hell's this? It's just a doofus with a bow and some chippy with...
Suddenly, Aaron's monitor goes dark.
Damn! That brat shot off the camera! These clowns are supposed to be the best money could buy. I'll head on over there. No! The judge can sick his men on him. That's what he gets paid for.
I heard the shouting all the way down the hall. Something going on?
Just a few last-minute glitches. Have to expect that with an operation this big.
Anything I can do to help?
You've done enough. After all, who else could have single-handedly put our satellite in orbit?
When will you be activating the satellite?
Soon, Kyle. Soon this country gets its wake-up call. Green Arrow and Crackshot jump off their balcony high above the hotel pool.
Huh?
Looks like you changed allegiances, Melanie.
They're trying to kill me, too. Besides, lately I've been watching and listening to Rayner much more closely. Whatever he's up to, it's not the same as what got me to go to work for him in the first place.
As they resurface, a helicopter finds them.
Oh my God!
Get down! I'll take them!
Connor takes aim as bullets begin to fill the water around them. The helicopter hovers directly over the pool. Green Arrow shoots 3 shafts into the helicopter's rotors and it begins to fall. The wave from its impact knocks Connor out of the pool next to Melanie.
I could have made that shot.
You would have killed them.
Small loss.
They escape as the pilots swim to safety.
We better make ourselves scarce, hun. The law in this town's on Rayner's payroll.
Like you?
I'm putting in my notice.
We have to find Green Lantern and tell him.
Who's this?
A car pulls up and Eddie Fyres throws open the door.
Get in here, Connor. As usual, you're in up to your neck in it. What are you doing here, Eddie?
Pulling your butt out of the fire, kid.
More gunmen fire at his car. Eddie shoots back from out the window as he backs away. Nice to see you dating. Love her taste in accessories.
Get serious, Eddie.
How's this for serious? Your buddy's papa is a major player in a techno theft ring. He deals in hot chips. The rumor mill in the espionage community has him into some bad stuff. Rayner bought some particle beam technology on the Russian black market. But it's kind of a tough weapon to implement.
What does that mean?
It requires an orbiting platform to fire from. From there, it can take out targets anywhere on Earth.
Eddie executes a rolling 180-degree turn and speeds down the road.
Oh no.
Bohunk and Ringboy placed a satellite in orbit for Rayner. He said it was to take care of the liberal media.
Sure, the same way the Death Star took care of Princess Leia's mama. Any ideas for getting us into Rayner's hideout?
I think I can help there. I found a back door once when looking for a soda machine.
Soon they make their way into the base.
I can't believe this luck. Rayner's had time to wipe my access code. I wonder why he didn't.
Maybe Rayner's preoccupied with something else.
This Connor Hawke is a good friend of yours?
Actually, I hardly know him, but we've got a lot in common.
Aside from your views on America?
Well, I'm no political scientist, and Connor's even more out of touch. But he did make me think, if all you want to do is combat the media's skewed view of the world, why not just use the powers of free speech?
Meaning?
Well, with all the cash you laid out for this place, you could have bought a couple of television or radio stations. You could have run for office.
You don't realize how organized the opposition is. The game's fixed, son. It's rigged 6 ways from Sunday. I don't mean to sound paranoid. Mr. Rayner, we got a situation in town.
Anything I can help with?
I'll take care of it, Kyle. You've done enough. After Aaron leaves, Kyle hears a quiet voice.
Kyle.
He finds the others and Eddie at a computer terminal.
What's all this? Eddie? I was in the neighborhood.
We've got a lot to tell you about your dad, Kyle.
Look, I don't want to hear. How he sent me to kill your buddy here?
Or how we helped him place a death ray in orbit?
It's a communication satellite, Connor.
Eddie lights a cigarette.
Then why does it have a nuclear reactor, sport?
Huh?
Howard Stern doesn't need fissionable material to broadcast.
But why would he?
Could it be your pop's a megalomaniac with a Hitler complex?
We've looked all over for them, Mr. Rayner.
Look again. It's just a kid with a bow and that damn turncoat. Sir, I think I have something. We're getting a smoke alert in the living quarters.
I've got to talk to him.
So he can deny it?
You gotta do more than that.
You gotta undo what you did.
The guards soon find them.
Get out of the way, kid. It's them we want.
Really? Well,
until further notice, a green rhino charges through the wall, knocking out the guards.
I'm one of them.
Come on, handsome. This way out.
But
they can take care of themselves.
Crackshot leads Connor into the vents.
We can lead some of those goons off their location.
I guess.
You should guess that bow's not much good against 100 hired guns.
We got our hands full down here. That kid. I should have seen this coming. Hatchet, get down there. I'm on it, boss. Booted feet below us. We'd better stay here until they pass.
Oh, I'm in no hurry to leave. Which means we're alone again, Connor.
How can you think about that with certain death all around us?
She rolls under him suggestively.
Can you think of a better time?
Crackshot.
Melanie. I know you like girls, Connor. Believe me, a woman knows these things.
I want the firing sequence begun now. Damn it. I said no. What the?
Kyle storms down the hall past what remains of the guards and finds Aaron.
We gotta talk. There's no room for gray areas. The decline of this country's gone too far for that.
He pushes a big red button.
Your friend is a traitor. The kind of bleeding heart that's led this nation down the garden path.
This is a lot of bull. You're telling me the time for compassion is past? Connor's a traitor because he has his own mind?
This conversation is a waste of time.
Really?
Really. Remember that communications satellite you and your buddy placed in orbit for me? Well, in 2 minutes it's gonna communicate about 10 million hertz of pure laser power onto our nation's capital. Ha! Those SOBs left me to die on a foreign op back in the good old Cold War days. I was willing to lay down my life for God and country, but not for a budget cut.
Meanwhile, Eddie Fyres takes cover from Hatchet's energy weapon behind a wall.
You gave the tactical guys fits? Some old fart with a gun?
Eddie jumps out from cover and shoots Hatchet in the chest.
Some dangerous old fart with a gun.
Connor holds Melanie down.
You don't understand. My dad was a womanizer, the love 'em and leave 'em type. I inherited his weird genetic attraction to women. I mean, their attraction for him. I don't see anything weird about it. What I mean is, he left a trail of broken hearts, and even an illegitimate child or two. The only way you'll break my heart is by walking away. I want to be the hero he was, not the man he was. Given the right time and place, maybe there could be something between us. But there's too much going on right now. Not enough, if you ask me.
He gets off of her, and they move on. Eddie dives away as Hatchet causes a large explosion behind him. From the town, people see the mountain explode, and the town leaders pack their suitcases.
A helicopter crash-landed on the plaza. Then a bunch of Rayner's boys shot up Lee Street. Then half the mountain blew up. What do you think we should do, Judge?
I'm getting while the getting's still possible. I can handle superheroes and explosions and everything else, but I ain't gonna be around when the lawyers get here.
Turn it off. Undo it.
No shutdown mechanism. No turning back. 90 seconds to meltdown for the nation's leaders. It'd take more of a superhero than you to save them. There's just enough time for us to get out of here.
No. I came looking for you. Wanted to be as proud of you as I hoped you'd be of me. But you doomed millions of people.
Kyle flies into the air.
And I've got to try to save them. I can't save you. You need more of a superhero than me for that.
He blasts off from the base in an emerald space fighter with wings in the shape of an X.
He'll be okay. I know he will.
Kyle flies into space as the base continues to explode behind him. Hatchet approaches the downed Eddie.
I don't even know who you are, pal. Excuse me for not introducing myself. Too late for that, tough guy. Way too. What the?
Suddenly, an arrow pierces his backpack, disabling his armor suit.
His name is Eddie Fyres, and you should be grateful. It's me taking you down instead of him.
Connor runs up and punches him out.
You okay, Eddie?
Sure, just had the wind knocked out of me. A couple of Marlboros and you'll be fine, right?
Smart ass. I just hope Ringo held up his end of the game.
Green Lantern blocks the satellite's laser with his craft.
Otherwise, they're gonna have to move the government to Jersey.
A mere burst of light fills the sky above Washington, D.C. Kyle blasts the machine, destroying it. Kyle flies his craft back down to Earth. No applause, please. I'm modest. I didn't do anything another great American hero wouldn't have done. Kyle lands by Aaron Rayner, who lies on the ground.
Whoa. His chest is crushed.
He's a goner, even if you airlift him to an ER.
And I left here hating him. My own father.
Go ahead and hate me. I'm not your old man. I'm your uncle, Zachary. His brother. Haven't seen your father in years. Probably dead. Damn. Getting bright in here.
Eddie pulls a coat over Zachary's head.
You okay? Yeah. The good news is, he wasn't my dad. The bad news is, I think I gotta keep looking. I need to know. Good luck. Hey, I'm sorry about... Don't worry about it. I know what it's like to find your father. You want him to be one thing, and it's hard to face the fact that he's something very different.
And I thought I missed today's Oprah.
You know, Connor, there's something to be said for the love 'em and leave 'em type. Melanie.
Somewhere in Colorado.
Sir?
A man boarding a military helicopter is given a telegram by a uniformed officer. It reads, "Regret to inform you of the death of your brother. Condolences. The real Aaron Rayner gives his brother a grim final salute. End. Kyle would continue to wonder about his father for years after this, but even after joining the JLA and using their resources, he would always come up empty when trying to find the real Aaron Rayner. He only found him once he had assumed the power of Ion, all the leftover Green Lantern power hiding in the sun after Hal's sacrifice, and became something like a god in terms of sheer power. Only then did Kyle finally find the man he was searching for over all those years, basically by scanning the genetic code of everyone on Earth. But that's a story for another day. I just wanted you to know that although he failed in this story, he did eventually find him, and they did have a long overdue conversation. Green Lantern and Green Arrow would team up a few other times in the brief number of years Connor had his dad's book to himself, and Kyle and Connor would generally be part of each other's lives and be friends from then on. The 3-part Hate Crimes would see them tackle racial unrest and riots in New York, and give the books a chance to tackle some of those social issues the original was so famous for. Another story, 3 of a Kind, would involve the Flash as well, when all 3 found themselves on a cruise ship together as civilians, and villains attacked. And another time Connor would come to New York looking for Kyle, but since he would be in space, Connor had to team up with Jade instead, who was filling in for Kyle as Green Lantern on Earth. And of course Connor got to meet the young and time-lost Hal Jordan in Emerald Knights, which I've already adapted. It wouldn't be the last time Connor saw Crackshot either, as she would drop in for a visit later on in his book's run. And if it had continued to be written, she might well have developed into a recurring love interest. Women would continue to treat him like a pie cooling on a windowsill for as long as it ran, and watching Connor grow in that area of life was part of the run's appeal. He had a rather interesting track record, and may have lost his virginity to an ancient ghost woman in a magically appearing lost city, though the book isn't concrete on that. But eventually, due to poor sales and plans to revive Oliver Queen moving on behind the scenes, Green Arrow's comic would sadly come to an end with issue 137. Luckily, eventually Kevin Smith would finish writing Quiver, and we got our Ollie back, and Connor would be a part of the modern book and Oliver's new life, for most of its run. As for Kyle, he kept on as the last Green Lantern until Hal Jordan's revival in Green Lantern Rebirth and the return of the Green Lantern Corps. Kyle would always have a special significance and the title of Torchbearer for keeping the light of the lanterns going through an era of darkness in the universe. Well, that'll do it for this one. I hope you've enjoyed this story and may want to see some of the others it connects to. Until next time, take care out there, and as always, thanks for watching.